In today's video, I'm putting in new cab bushings in my truck. Also, while the carpeting is out, I'm putting sound deadening material underneath. And if you want to stick around to the end and see me do something I'm famous for, I'm gonna break something. This is not part of the plan, but I broke something expensive, and then I'm gonna have to deal with that too. Hello everybody, Robert Lewis here. Welcome back. We're with my 2000 Power Stroke with a 7.3 Power Stroke engine. I am in the middle of multiple projects going on here, so all my seats are out, and that's because I'm putting new leather seat covers on and I'm adding heating elements to have heated seats. While all of that is out, I'm also going to remove all of the carpeting, and for two reasons. I'm going to put sound deadening material all over here and up the firewall as high as I can to try to quiet things down a little bit. But more importantly, I'm also, while the carpeting is out, I want to put in new cab bushings. I've ordered polyurethane bushings to replace my 25-year-old dry rotted, cracked, rickety old cab mounts. I know that they're worn. I can feel things shaking all over when I'm driving, and it kind of leans in ways that I think it shouldn't. So we're going to stiffen that thing up, get a better ride out of it. But the seats and carpet need to be out for all of that. So it's the perfect opportunity to be doing that work. Let's get started. With all of the seats out, the next and vacuumed, the next step is to remove that little tray back there and the seat belts. And there's a few other little things, like right underneath the driver and passenger seat. There's a big washer that's like a hold down. Oh, and then the door sill plates all need to come out, and then I should be able to peel this carpeting out and then start washing. So it feels like there might be some glue up along the leading edge, up on top of the area where this floor humps up over the transmission. So I'm going to get in with a pry tool and try to loosen that up. Oh yeah, look at that. This is glued in. I finally got it right up on top here. It was glued, and also it was pinched back in there, so I just had to yank it and pull it, but this was a really hot job. Now it's ready to come out. I'm so thankful for my wife Courtney. She helped power wash and scrub this carpeting using several different types of detergent. Both of my kids helped with the interior of the cab, scrubbing seat belts and also all the plastic trim pieces. Those seat belts were disgusting, and I gotta say, after cleaning them and scrubbing them, they are even softer to the touch. Look at these before and after pictures. Isn't that amazing? Look at that transformation. The next thing to happen for cab bushings is loosening all of the bolts. There are 8. One here, one underneath the brake pedal, and then one all the way at the front corner, and then there's 4 more on the other side, the passenger side. 15/16 is what you use, and you gotta go, you have to use a ratchet. I have watched some other videos. Everybody says you cannot use an impact gun because these are held in with Loctites. There are some grommets underneath on the floor. You can peel them out by hand like that. Holy cow. This is full of dirt. You gotta see this. Look at all this dirt. I'm gonna vacuum that out. But that's where another one is, and then underneath the brake pedal up there is another. Well, guess what? I ran out of patience, and so yeah, I am using the impact gun. This one's really stuck, and so I'm gonna heat it up. I did read somewhere or watch a video somewhere where someone said that by heating it you can melt the Loctite that's holding this all together, and it'll come out a whole lot easier. So let's give it a go. Don't touch it, it's hot. These bushings are two-piece bushings. There's a top piece that is above the frame mount, and then there's a bottom piece. And they push together on a center metal shaft. And what we're doing here is the lower part of that bushing is the part that is threaded. And so you put that bolt in, thread it in part way loosely, and then you hammer it from the top. That will push the lower bushing away from the upper bushing, and then you can remove it a lot more easily. Alright, so I haven't removed the intake, the battery tray, all of that is gone. I need to remove this intercooler pipe here next, because just down underneath here is the very frontmost cab mount. There's another one on the other side. The other one over there is a lot easier to get to. I don't need to remove anything, but I'm going to pull all this out of the way and then remove those bolts. Removal of these engine bay components will give you access to the top portion of the cab mounts. The bottom half of the cab mounts will require their own disassembly. You'll need to remove the brush guard, if you've got one like me, and then the bumper. If you've got a diesel engine, don't forget about the wire for your block heater. That is clipped inside the bumper, and you'll need to undo those connections too. Just above the tow hooks, you're going to find holes that are the ends of the frame rails. That is the access point that you'll need to reach the bolts which come out from the bottom. There is a smaller access point cut out of the frame just above the leaf spring, and you'll need to use both of those access points to remove that cab mount. It is worth mentioning here that these frontmost cab mounts are reverse from the other six. In this location, the bolt is removed from the bottom. The six that are accessible from the cab come out, bolt is removed from the top. This next phase of the project tested me for sure. These front bushings did not want to come out. My daughter helped me in these early stages. She was watching the bushing to see if it would turn while I was twisting with the ratchet. The bushing would just spin because it was rusted together. These bushings have a metal center shaft that is threaded, and that's what the bolt threads into. My next idea was to go get a large 8-inch C-clamp. I thought that if I could clamp that bushing against the frame, that it might be enough pressure to hold it still while I was twisting the ratchet. That also did not work. Next, I asked my son to come over and I inserted a pry bar in between the frame and the bushing. And I had him lean on that pry bar to put pressure against it and hold it still while I twisted with the ratchet. That also did not work. My frustration level was rising, and so I began to let my destructive tendencies take over. I thought that if I could remove that rubber portion of the bushing, then I could get vice grips on the center metal part of the bushing and hold that still while I twisted with the ratchet from down below. This also proved to be a challenge though, because that rubber was really tough to remove. So I'm in the middle of removing all of the cab bushings right now. The rear 6 came out pretty easy. These front ones I've been working on for a few hours. It's been an enormous problem. They clearly get a lot more water coming from, probably from through the grill and down. And so my neighbor came to the rescue again. Thank you, BJ. He has whale jaw vice grips. So I'm gonna be able to grab on to the entire outside portion of the part that's still spinning and hold it still and then loosen the bolt. I'm gonna get to work on that now. I'm finally making progress here. Wait till you hear the noise that this freaking thing made as I was starting to break it loose. I have finally gotten that bolt out, and now I'm using my tap and die kit to clean up these threads. They are just jammed full of rust, and I'm watching very carefully to make sure this still looks really good. It just looks really clean now. And so I'm going to keep on running, put some penetrating oil on to cut through that rust. Keep turning back and forth like this. A new bolt is $18 from Ford. I've already looked it up because I considered cutting this bolt with my Sawzall to get it out. Thankfully it didn't come to that. Look at that. Nice and clean. Beautiful. This will live another 25 years now. Now it's time to lay down some of this sound deadening material. Here's what it looks like. It's a foil backed. You peel it back and this here is real sticky. That's not super sticky, but sticky enough that it's gonna lay down here and then the carpet will go on top. This should quiet things down at least a little bit. Okay, fair warning about this. I've seen plenty of videos where others have done this same thing, using the same material, and they've done measurements with a decibel measuring app on their iPhone and done a before and after comparison to see what the reduction in background noise is like. It's actually very little. This 7.3 Power Stroke is a very loud engine. You know, I've already lined my doors though with this same stuff, and I had extra material, and so I wanted to use it. I was planning on doing it anyways, so that's what I'm doing. By the way, I also have links for all of this material. The sound deadening material, the bushings, and a bunch of the tools I've used like that tap and die kit. These links are all going to be in the description, and they are Amazon affiliate links. So if you're watching this right now because you're going to be doing this project too, I've made it easy for you. You can click those links and add to cart and you'll be off to the races. I will get a small commission from Amazon for this, but it won't cost you anything extra. Thank you in advance for doing this if this is you. It does help me out a little bit, so I appreciate it. Alright, so I just put my clamp on here in order to hold this still. I'm at the rear of the cab right now, removing this bushing. So you have to remove the bolts from the top. This one was a little stuck, so I put this clamp on, this vice grip. Now I can take that off. Now you remove all of these, get out of the way. Remove these bushings from the bottom. Some of them might require a little bit of prying. Maybe from both sides. There you go, just like that. I'm gonna stay out of the way. It's full of dust too. See, this one's splitting apart. It's all cracked. I'll show you better in the light when we get out on the bench. But I'm removing all of the bottom portions from all three of these under the cab. The front is already out. And then I'm going to lift this up and remove these top pieces. All right, now I'm in the front cab bushing. Not the front by the radiator, but the front where your feet are, the front of the cabin, passenger cabin. As you can see, the bushing's right here. It needs to come down off that shaft, but that bolt right there, this is for the leaf spring hanger right here. That bolt is in the way, so we're gonna have to jack this cab up in order to get that to drop. So here's my setup for jacking the cab up. I got a bunch of 4x6s on here. This is not exactly safe looking, but this is what I've got. So I'm only raising this a couple inches, gonna grab those bushings, pull them out, and then lower this back down, and it'll rest on the cab while I'm resituating the bushings and getting them ready for reinstallation. I'll show you, I've got this situated just along the floor, and I'm pushing on the floor, and I've got a wide piece of wood that's probably a foot long that's pressing against the floor. A lot of guys do say to press against the pinch weld right here, and I just didn't have a lot of room for that, so this is what I'm doing. So as you can see, that fell right off as soon as I lifted this up. And now, since this is not exactly super safe, I'm going to be careful about how much time my fingers spend in a pinch area. But you just lift this up, slide it out, slide that out, and then we're going to take it to the bench. All right, I've got all the bushings out of the truck. I've got them on the bench right here. The instructions, oh yeah, I did break down and I read the instructions. I kind of had to because this was confusing. This kit came with 18 different bushings. You only need 8. I'm talking about uppers. The lowers are the same, and that's another story. But different model year trucks and different cab configurations of trucks use different size bushings. So the instructions say to pull everything out in order, in the right order, line it up on your bench, and then you got to figure out which bushing you need. And you just kind of hold them up and look at them and size them up. And I'm just going to take my best guess. But it's kind of obvious. Some of them are taller, some of them are shorter, and so it's pretty easy to figure out. Here's what I'm dealing with though. So this is the radiator, front of the cab by your feet, underneath the seat, and then rear. And you can see right away, this one is a lot bigger. The front, by the way, that's very different. So that's obvious. But you can see these two are similar. This one's different, and so I'm sizing them up by height, and that's how I'm doing this. So next, you got to pull all these old bushings off of this metal hardware, and then you're going to reuse the metal hardware. You're going to put these new bushings on it in both cases, and then piece it all back together, put it back in the truck. By the way, I should show you just how squishy some of these are. And you can see, which one was it? This one really dry rotted and cracked. These all feel soft and squishy. This new stuff, man, you can't even squeeze that at all. The only reason I can flex this a little bit is because I'm really, really strong. I don't know if you are, but you could give it a try when you get yours. Alright, so as you can see, there's a raised area on here that looks like it's supposed to fit in that hole, but it does not. I'm gonna have to trim that down. Okay, so I was wrong. The determining factor on these bushings is not height like I thought. It's this diameter right here. It's a lot wider on this one than this one, so I'm going to switch out the ones I just installed, remove this, and put this on. The overall bushing is a little bit smaller, but this will fit inside the hole on the frame. This needs to be trimmed, and that's going to be a real chore. This one fits just fine though, so I'm going to use that. Alright, now look at that. Got a little bit of wiggle room, but that'll help for bolt alignment. This fits just fine, so set that in. Oh, this one went in the rear. I don't think that even matters at this point. There we go. Now, okay. And that gets pressed on like that. And the same for right here. All right, come take a look. The floor underlayment is all in. This sound deadening material, I've got it everywhere. I ran it nice and high up the firewall. I cut out around all the little grommets and the connectors for seat belts, cab mounts, everything. You may be wondering why the seat belts have clamps on them. And that is because each seat belt is being soaked in a bucket of soapy water right now. We let it soak for an hour or two and then scrub them with a scrub brush. And when I say we, I don't mean me. My wife and daughter did that. After they were done, they would rinse them off with clean water and then let them dry. And then it was time to let those clamps go, and the seat belts just retracted back into position. Alright, so I gotta put the bumper and my grill guard back on. They're sitting right over there. That'll be the final thing for this cab mount video. I'm gonna call this an end right now though, without putting that on. I need to stop here. I have made a giant mistake and I cannot continue. I normally would have ended this video with a test drive and talked to you about what I'm feeling and has this improved, but I made a big mistake in the process of doing this, and so I am gonna need to order some more parts. Let me explain. So the way this works is you've got 4 bushings down one side, 4 down the other. You loosen all 8 of them, and then you jack up the passenger side of the truck, remove them, put in the new, put it together loosely, then lower it back down. Then you raise up this side of the truck, replace all the bushings, put them together loosely, lower it back down, then tighten them all at once. So the problem came in when I was raising this side of the truck, driver's side, and I needed to come up a little bit more to get some clearance on this front bushing right up here, a front cab bushing. And in the process of doing that, so your cab is raising up, the engine and everything in there is staying still, and don't you know, all of a sudden I heard water gushing. It sounded like someone was taking a whiz on the concrete here. I heard a lot of splashing, and I looked towards the front, and there was red fluid everywhere. It was coolant. This pipe, the inlet to the coolant, the radiator, cracked right here. You can see this is on tight, but see that right there? That there's a piece of pipe stuck inside this tube, and it has cracked and snapped off, and now I can't even get this clamped on at all. So I'm not sure if I can repair that or if I need to replace my entire radiator. So there may be another video in the future that was not part of the plan, and a bunch of dollars flown out of my bank account that was not part of the plan. But please do stick around. I've got a few more videos coming. One of them may be radiator related. So, hey everybody, so I did want to give you my driving impressions after the cab mounts. I've had everything done for about a week or so. I took care of my radiator problems, and I've been driving around a little bit. So 2 things. So on the sound deadening, I don't really notice a difference. But you know what? We don't buy these trucks because we want to have complex conversations with our passengers, do we? We buy them because we want to get some work done and because they sound nice and loud. So, regarding the cab mounts, big difference there, huge improvement. I noticed that when I'm approaching a divided highway, the intersections on our main highway through Greeley here are concrete, and the 1 mile runs in between the intersections are pavement, and where they intersect, the pavement gets all humped up, and when you hit that hard, before, my truck would rattle all over the place, and now it is one big bump. So that's a very noticeable difference, and proof that it was very loose before, and proof that I have fixed that now with these cab mounts. So thank you all for watching along. I appreciate all of the likes and subscribes and everything, so please do that too, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.